In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the Press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted on the bulletin boards in the county office building in Atlantic City, the Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office at Mays Landing. Hey, and we'll have our opening prayer. We give thanks for the light of another day, for the work we have to do and the strength to do it. Guide us by thy light, uphold us by thy power, and sustain us with thy love. Amen.
Amen.
We'll have the flag salute. Attention, salute. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag
To the United States of
of the
America.
United States of America,
To the republic for which
to the
it
republic for which it
stands, one
stands,
nation,
one nation.
under God, indivisible, and liberty for all. Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
I am here.
Bertino,
Present.
Horsey,
I am present.
Days,
Present.
Fitzpatrick,
Here.
Gatto,
Here.
Risley,
Ever present.
and Kern.
Yeah, present. Okay, the commissioners have had an opportunity to review the minutes from February 2nd, 2021. I'll entertain a motion to adopt February 2nd, 2021 minutes as presented.
Motion. Second.
Motion made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes. Okay, and just as we note each week, currently anyone that would like to speak during public comments, please type yes and the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak during public comments. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and the town that you reside. Okay, we're going to go right into Pat Diamond. Pat, are you here?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Briefing as of March 16th, 2001. I can't believe I have to say that it's been a year since we actually announced our first case, which occurred on March 17th. So a lot has happened, and we've come a long way, and we're turning the corner, I think, on this. So the cases, the cumulative Atlantic County-wide positive 19 cases to date are 22,968, up from 21,940, or about 1,000 reported to you on March 2nd. There are 11,072 people reported as being cleared from isolation. There continues to be a decline in the number of COVID-19 cases, but not as much as what was seen in the beginning of the month. These past 2 weeks, cases are hovering in the late 400s each week, which is a slight improvement since March 2nd. Work continues with the contact tracing staff to emphasize the importance in reaching cases within 24 hours of receiving the positive report. And this is the 45 to 50 people that work remotely. This is necessary to continue to contain spread. Last week, the State Department of Health reported that 73% of all the positive Atlantic County cases were reached within 24 hours, which is a good statistics. And this is an improvement over previous weeks. There have been 571 reported deaths, up from 553 since March 2nd. For the past 4 weeks, the COVID-19 Activity Level Report, or CALI score, continues to be at moderate levels. This means for the Southeast region, we continue with lower case numbers and lower percent positivity. Now I'm going to go into vaccination. As of today, there have been a total of 99,835 first and second doses administered to Atlantic County residents, which is an increase by over 30,000 doses reported to you on March 2nd. Given that the vaccine out there is only available from the age of 16 on up, this represents about 30 to 31% of our adult population. Of those vaccinated, 43% were male and 57% were female. The breakdown of race and ethnicities of who has been vaccinated: Asian 9%, Black 6%, White is 63%, Hispanic is 6%, and those that are completing their consent forms complete other at 6%, or unknown at 11%. So we really don't have a clear picture of actually who is, how it's broken down, and hopefully that'll improve in the future. The Division of Public Health continues to support the Atlantic City Convention mega site by providing Atlantic County Public Health nursing staff and the Atlantic County Medical Reserve Corps volunteers. The volunteer corps numbers 40 now and consists of doctors, nurses, dentists, and nurse practitioners. The daily number administered at the mega site continues to increase. The site is scheduled to hit over 4,000 in a day this week, and the 100,000 patient is most probably going to appear mid to late day on Friday, March 19th. We continue to work with case managers and Meals on Wheels staff on distributing Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine to recipients of the county's home delivered meal program. It is ideal for this population as it only requires one dose to be protective. It is a long process as far as contacting the individuals and setting up the appointments, but it is actually very rewarding for my staff to administer that vaccine, to get that vaccine out to those most vulnerable. Also, residents 75 years of age or older who are not home delivered meal recipients can call the recently established state hotline 856-249-7007 for vaccination appointment assistance. And we have heard that people have been able to get a vaccination appointment when they contact that number. Migrant and seasonal farm workers, an interagency group, is now meeting to plan vaccination and testing efforts for the migrant and seasonal farm workers population. The New Jersey Department of Agriculture sent a letter to farmers, and NJDOH will be releasing a survey to growers soon. As with last season, Southern Jersey Family Medical Center will be a key partner in providing direct care to migrant and seasonal farm workers. Outreach and education, Public Health Spring Newsletter, Your Health, Your Life, is in the process of being distributed out to the community. The newsletter, which is also translated into Spanish, discusses vaccines and vaccine safety. In addition, the newsletter has guidance information for selecting and wearing masks to optimally limit COVID-19 transmission. So that's my report as of today, March 16th. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions from the commissioners?
Swan?
Um,
I'm sorry.
I just want to say that we had the emergency task force meeting last Friday, and a lot of the information that was released at that meeting, Pat has just gone over. Also, I was at the mega site in Atlantic City yesterday and had heard about the 4,000 per day total that was coming up. So that was really exciting, and I'm glad you mentioned that as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I have any other comments or questions from the commissioners?
Chair,
Yes, Commissioner.
just one for Pat. Pat, what are the amount of doses we're getting per week now from the state? It was 1,000. Has that gone up?
The doses that are sent to the mega site. We no longer receive doses. We're no longer holding our clinic at the community college because resources were diverted to support the mega site. So we are not getting any more.
Thank you.
You have
Pat.
no counts. It's just going to the mega site and they're taking care of whatever vaccine is being distributed throughout the state.
Right. Yeah. They are continuing to increase their numbers. They're continuing to provide recognition that they may not have, say, no shows. So they're getting a handle on how many people don't show up. So one of the measures that they're taking is they're actually adding extra slots to accommodate for those people that don't show up. So maybe for, say, a 15-minute slot, instead of having 50 appointments, they're going to put 55 in anticipation of perhaps 5 not showing up. So any of the vaccine that we would get in our county goes to that mega site to support that. Now, we did get the Johnson & Johnson, which we did advocate for and through Jerry did receive to distribute to our home delivered meal clients, and we're in the process of doing that. But right now, in the foreseeable future, I can't see us as a county health department receiving any more. But if some comes available, we will certainly solicit for it.
Thank you, Pat.
You're
Do I
welcome.
have any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Commissioner?
I would be remiss if I did not once again talk about the outstanding job that Pat and her staff is doing, and certainly at the mega site in Atlantic City. But I did call Pat last week regarding the 85-year-old lady who wanted the vaccine shot in the worst way. And Pat making all the arrangements to have it done at her home. Fortunately, the lady was able to get it prior to Pat getting there to make the arrangements to do it. She had to travel to Cape May County, but she was able to get it. But just the fact that Pat and her staff was going to go out of their way to accompany and to assist this elderly lady says a whole lot, not only about Pat, but her entire staff. We can't say enough about them, but I get nothing but praises, and I'm sure most of my colleagues do, regarding how well the mega site is working, how it's being operated, and we would be remiss if we did not commend Atlantic Care, Lauren Hearn, and her entire staff in conjunction with the National Guards, et cetera. But I wanted to tell you, Pat, thank you publicly. When the young lady indicated she gotten the shot, we were happy, and I did indicate that you were making all the arrangements to bring the doses to her, but fortunately someone else was able to get it, and she was able to get hers. Thank you again.
Right. Yeah, we do. We are hearing that more and more when we're contacting people and say, how did you make out or whatever? And, you know, much more than previously are reporting that they're either in the middle of their 2 shots or have had an appointment. So that's good.
Hey, Pat, and I echo the sentiments that Commissioner Corsi just had. I've been getting some questions from some of the 55 and older communities. Specifically, had someone reach out from Oaks of Weymouth about, you know, is there a way to bring vaccines to them? Is there a way to, you know, have somebody come and help them at least get registered or do scheduling for the mega site? Are we thinking about that at all for 55 and older in the county?
Well, we get approached, Commissioner, from many groups. And right now, as I said previously, we are not getting vaccine. But those that have difficulty, depending on their age group, we either refer them to that, you know, 70 or above line. And we've actually also referred them to Sherry Bragg, who's the clinical coordinator at the mega site, to assist them. But we're not ruling out in the future, you know, what populations, if we get the vaccine, we may consider, you know, providing the vaccine too. Right now, our staff is at the mega site, and we're at Meals on Wheels doing that program. We're never really sure in the future if there's going to be much more of our staff diverted to the mega site. So we always have to kind of keep that in consideration, because we do have an obligation to support that site, which we committed to from the beginning.
Okay.
But I'll keep you posted if we are able to do that.
Okay, I might pass on some information to you, perhaps for Ms. Bragg to reach out and talk to them.
Sure, not a problem.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Do I have any other questions or comments for Ms. Diamond and the commissioners? Seeing none, do we have any from the public?
No, Madam Chair, we have no comments from the public today.
Pat, once again, thank you and your staff for all that you do.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
You stay healthy.
You as well. Okay, anyone that would like to ask a question to the public health? We've gone through that, but we have no other questions. Okay, I'm going to go right into ordinance number 2.
An ordinance amending County Code Chapter 97 entitled Parks Concerning John F. Gaffney Green Tree Golf Course. First reading.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments from the commissioners?
So, Madam Chair, just to kind of give a brief overview, we discussed this in both the Parks and Rec Subcommittee and the Budget Subcommittee. Essentially, we are looking to put the ability in to kind of raise the rates slightly. The rates haven't changed in a number of years, and I'm sure somebody with a little more detail on the phone can correct me on the number of years. But you know, we have many improvements going on out at the golf course, and we are recommending the slight fee increase to help offset some of those costs, but also to kind of match the caliber of the course that that we're creating with the improvements that we're making. I don't know if I missed anything else. I know Commissioner Bertino or any of my fellow budget committee members can add anything there.
Madam Chair,
Yes, please.
the only thing I'd add to that is that along with the slight increase in fees, there is some new programs that they've outlined to us that it's going to encourage additional use on the slower days, which will actually minimize and negate the fee increase. So there's going to be some opportunities for that to wash itself out, and also give them the opportunity to utilize and offer incentives on slow days when most people aren't able to use it, to give them financial incentive to try it. So it gives them a few more options they didn't have.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners?
I just, Madam Chair, just quickly.
Commissioner?
Yeah, just to kind of piggyback off of Commissioner Bertino's wash itself out comment. One of the improvements that Commissioner Gatto mentioned were the cart paths, and that was one of the probably the largest number of complaints that I had received was about the cart paths, and that issue is being addressed as well. So you know, there are a lot of improvements to kind of offset, I think, to make it a much better experience on the course.
Public.
Do I have any other?
Madam Chair?
Yep, Commissioner Ballas?
Yeah, the only comment I have, I would just like to see a little bit better of a discount for the juniors and the seniors. You know, neither one affects me, but the seniors, you know, right now, especially with COVID, you know, it's you know, tough for any increase, even if it's only $1 or $2. And with the juniors, you want to get them out there as much as possible because they're your future clients coming down the road. So, you know, if there's anything we can do to adjust for juniors and seniors, I would like to see that happen.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other commissioner comments?
Well, Madam Chair, I'm not going to let that pass by because I'm a little confused by Commissioner Ballas's comment, junior or senior, and he doesn't fit neither one of those criteria. Something's really wrong. The last time I checked his birth certificate, he was well over the 65 mark, so he's in between, you know, but maybe he just didn't want the discount. But I just didn't want him to let that pass by.
We thank you for your comments, Commissioner. Do we have any other comments from our commissioners? Okay, this is a first reading, so we are not open to the public on this one, so I'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
I'm going to take the junior, yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, and now I'll entertain a motion to move resolution number 165 to the top of the agenda, which is a resolution to anticipate miscellaneous revenues in the 2021 budget using the 3-year average of realized revenues from the prior 3 years as recommended by County Treasurer Lindau.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Do I have any comments?
Madam
Well,
Chair,
Are we just voting to move it up first and then?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll take a roll call moving it up.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes. Motion carries. We'll now have resolution 165.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion been made and second. Resolution 165?
Madam Chair,
Yes.
Did you,
I think for the record, I don't want to overstep the clerk. I know she's going to read it into the record, but maybe Bonnie or someone be able to explain to John Q, the public, what this is about.
I was going to read it into the public. The first was just so the public would know what we were moving. And as you always request, Commissioner Corsi. Resolution to anticipate miscellaneous revenues in the 2021 budget using the 3-year average of realized revenues from the prior 3 years.
Hey, do we have, I think we
So
already
moved.
had a second on this one. Do we have any commissioner comments here?
Well, Madam Chair, we did discuss it in the budget meeting, but I think Bonnie would be the best person to relay it rather than any of us, because it is a little bit complicated, but it did make sense. And the committee was agreeable to it following our discussion. So Bonnie, hopefully you can give the explanation.
Right, so this is really procedural in that we were authorized by local finance notice to use a 3-year average for COVID-related losses of revenue in 2020. And the resolution should have been read at introduction, but during my budget review, it was, I was informed that this needed to be voted on before any action was taken on the budget. Essentially, it's a confirmation of the local finance notice direction of the allowable use of the 3-year average. And this is, the only thing that I would add is that generally in a budget,
Somebody's got to cut a mic off.
Yeah, that's Fedorko needs to go on mute.
in a budget, generally, you don't anticipate more than you collect in that previous year. So this will allow us to use a 3-year average so that for those revenues, and there were the surrogate's office and the sheriff's office were the 2 offices that we use this authorization in our introduced budget.
I think that, Madam Chair, if I may. No, you're muted. That's, I'm assuming you told me yes.
Commissioner Corsi.
Oh, okay. Amy indicated correctly. Bonnie could explain it better. It was a little bit more in detail at the budget meeting, but it's very clear what it is we're attempting to do. Some of our colleagues was not on the budget meeting yesterday, but I'm sure they probably got a clear understanding what it is we're doing. So I just wonder, I thought yesterday was an outstanding presentation, what she was attempting to do. Matter of fact, the whole entire budget meeting yesterday, believe it or not, I had not one question. I think took Jerry by surprise, but I thought it was a good budget meeting.
Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other commissioner comments? Seeing none, do we have any comments from the public?
Yes.
Seeing
Yeah.
none? Yes, we do.
Wait.
Okay.
Michelle Post, we're going to lift her. She's lifted. Ms. Post?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm a little confused. Is this related to the federal money you're anticipating getting from that 1.9 trillion that's being dispersed, and that's why you're anticipating revenue, or is it unrelated to that?
This is unrelated.
Oh, okay. Okay. So will that come up, excuse me, come up later, how that fits in? Excuse me.
The American Rescue Plan Act funds are related to the current fund budget, which is a resolution I believe it may be the next resolution.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. Are there any other comments from the public? No, seeing none, we'll have a roll call.
Madam Clerk, you're on mute.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, I was on mute.
You're
Madam-
the chairperson and she's Madam Clerk. Now you want to be the clerk or the chair?
I'm having a problem here because I hold you, so bear with me tonight because I can't get everybody on the screen. For some reason, my layout is not working, so I'm a little off.
There were no more comments from the public. I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was on mute. And I'll do the roll call. Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that brings us down to Resolution 85.
2021 Atlantic County Budget Final Reading.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any commissioner comments? Any commissioner comments at this time?
Yes, I have a question. I thought this was being postponed. Didn't we talk about this being
Well,
postponed in our budget
well-
meeting?
What we discussed is because it was advertised for the public hearing, we would allow the public hearing. And then once you go through the public hearing on the budget, then we would explain how the American Rescue Plan impacts any of the discussions we have after the public hearing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so the motion, we could have the final reading, but we won't move to adopt.
Got it. That is correct. Do I have any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Okay, do we have any comments from the public?
There are no comments from the public. I don't
So-
believe.
So,
No
Madam Chair,
comments from the public.
do you want, I don't know if Bonnie or Jerry, you want to answer Michelle Post's previous question and go through the Recovery Act impact?
Yes, as you know, Bonnie explained this to you as a committee, budget committee, and then we dealt with the other members of the board of commissioners. So we think everybody has heard the explanation. So this is for the public now. So Bonnie, why don't you go through, our conversations?
So at this time, since introduction of the budget, the American Rescue Plan Act has been finalized, and there's been some overall guidance in terms of what the allowable uses are. However, with conversations with our auditor, our auditing firm is Fort Scott, and the lead auditor is Leon Costello. He's recommended that we table the county budget until we can get additional guidance related to the allowable uses and to maximize the ability for the county to possibly add revenues to the budget prior to adoption. This is the forum in which we would do that. To table the budget at this point in time would allow us, once we get through the final analysis of the allowable uses, to amend the budget and then to adopt the budget. If we move forward with adoption this evening, then we would not be able to amend in the future.
Do I have any other comments or questions from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, if I may,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Commissioner?
can you explain how much money did the county or will the county receive?
The county allocation is roughly $52 million. Those funds, as far as I understand, run through December 31st of 2024, which is a 4-year period starting in 2021. The guidance that we did have read that 60 days after enactment, the county should receive 50% of those funds up front, and then 12 months later, we would anticipate receiving the other 50%.
Okay, and I guess, Bonnie, Madam Chair, my question would be directed now to Jerry. And I failed to ask him yesterday, so I'll ask him today with Bonnie. With these funds, any of that $52 million, will it be going towards, I think I heard Bonnie said you have to wait for the guidelines, but some of it will go to offset taxes next year? Or is it
Well,
already
that's-
allocated for big projects?
There are two areas that we've discussed with our auditor. One is any loss in revenue. That is a key element of the American Rescue Plan. And the second piece would be anything related to COVID-19. And if you remember in the executive's presentation to the board, we roughly had approximately $2 million worth of COVID-19 related expenses in this year's budget. So in our conversations with Leon, or actually in Bonnie's conversations with Leon, he has asked to meet with us as a group to go over and pinpoint areas of those two issues: revenue loss, COVID-19 expenses in the 2021 budget. Moving forward, we really don't know how it impacts the rest of the years of 2022, 2023, or 2024. So that's why he's recommending that we don't adopt presently.
Okay, and because, and one of the other questions, and I'll shut up for a minute, but I noticed that last Friday, the city of Atlantic City presented its budget to the lieutenant governor in the state of New Jersey, which we, believe it or not, came in under, and that we are having a 5.4 cents tax decrease. However, when the news came out that Atlantic City was going to be receiving somewhere around $33 million plus from this $1.9 trillion bill, we're still in the same situation. What is it can be earmarked for infrastructure, et cetera. So even though we presented our budget to the state on Friday, there's some other stuff. Some of it go towards tax release, but we'll get it over a 2-year period. We'll get half this year and the other half next year, which I think is great. But it was just good news that we were able to come in at 5.4 cent decrease in taxes. But this money here helped it even more. But there's some other stuff COVID related, as you said, Jerry, even with the county, the city needs to participate in going forward. So a lot of questions out there, how this money can be divvied up, whether it's on the county level, the local level, et cetera. So I appreciate you keeping us posted in terms of how we go or where we go from here in terms of how that money could be divvied up. Like you said, 50% this year and 50% next year or next couple of years. But this is all good news for everybody across the country.
Thank you for your comments, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments, questions? Okay.
There is another, I'm sorry, Chairwoman, there is another public question from Michelle Post. We're going to raise her again.
Thanks. I'm just trying to understand, so you're getting this 52 million within about a 12-month period, some this year, some next year. Are you limited to spending only 1 quarter each year, or could you spend it all up front or spend just a little and more next year? Like, what do you know yet what the rules are in terms of how you can, how quickly you can have to spend it? And I thought that the bill explicitly said governments cannot use the funds to lower taxes. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, you understand that correctly. They added that in at the very end. Congress added that in. The difference is one of the key elements is revenue loss. So it's not a question of whether or not you're going to reduce taxes. If you had to increase the budget because you lost revenue and you had no other way to balance your budget, we've been told, and that's why one of the reasons why Mr. Costello wants to meet with us is to go over those revenue losses that Bonnie just went through. She was able to do 3-year average because of the losses in revenue in certain areas. So he plans to sit with us and go over those. And I think I've mentioned to you, Michelle, that, you know, he met with the governor's staff and, you know, went through, you know, 3.5 hours of conversation with them about how to use these funds with respect to revenue loss. So that's where we're going to be meeting about. That's the first issue. We don't know the spending plan because the regulations haven't come forward yet as to whether or not you can spend them, you know, immediately or whether or not you're required to spend 1 quarter a year. I don't believe that that's been delineated yet. So
What does that 3-year average come out to?
So, Jerry, if
Go
you don't
ahead.
mind, I'll answer that. Specifically, the 3-year average revenue was for the line items of the sheet A revenues for the surrogate's office, and also for the sheet A and sheet E revenues for the sheriff's office specifically. So those are individual line items in our budget that we use the 3-year average in order to meet the requirements necessary for their budget in 2021. That's separate
My
and
brain
apart.
is not, my brain is not totally understanding this. I'm sorry. So I guess is that related, was that related to revenue losses or revenue increases?
It's related to revenue loss.
Oh, okay.
But in order for us to make up the revenue loss, we were authorized by local finance notice from the Division of Local Government Services to use a 3-year average for each of those constitutional officers' line item revenue.
Okay. And what does that turn out to be in terms of millions?
It's not millions. I mean,
okay.
The resolutions, I mean, for the surrogate's office for Section A, the average revenue that I'm using in the current budget is $167,000. I'm sorry, that's the 3-year average, and I'm anticipating $167,881. So that's the 3-year average. For the sheriff's office Section A, their 3-year average was $1.3 million. Their Section E section was $596,000. So that's a 3-year average of each of their line items. And that's the amount that we are allowed to anticipate in the 2021 budget. Normally, without that guidance and without that ability to use a 3-year average, we would only have been able to anticipate the revenues that they collected in the previous year.
Okay, gotcha.
And their revenues were short specifically because of COVID.
Okay. So does that relate to how much you can take from that federal money in terms of making up for lost revenue?
Right. So I think that what Jerry was referring to is when we go through the budget line item by line item, we're going to include the sheriff and the surrogate because that was 2 line items in our budget where there was a revenue loss. Another revenue loss we had this year, just for your information, was the nursing home. And we also had a revenue loss. The pilot money that comes in from the casinos. I'm sorry.
Yeah, what was that loss? How much was that?
Roughly $3 million.
Okay, so you need to find out if you can take them line item by line item, or if you have to do the average, right, for the whole budget?
We're going to go over the budget line item by line item with our auditor. I think the guidance that we're waiting on is because there's like 3 or 4 major general uses that that were provided to us in a summary from NACO related to the act. But we want to make sure that we're using these dollars according to the federal guidelines, not to risk the possibility of misusing them and having to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Bonnie. Do we have any other questions from the public?
No, Madam Chair, we do not.
Okay. And as we said, this vote is being postponed. So that brings us to Resolution 86.
Atlantic County Public Health Annual Budget Notice 2021, final reading.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Do we have any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yes, please.
just before we go to that, I believe we have to table 85 to postpone it, don't we?
Not according to the Legislative Council.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you,
Oh, yeah.
Commissioner.
Did our legislative council want to weigh in? I don't hear from you that often.
Sure. Here I am. So there was some discussion about this, and given the unique nature of this particular matter and the fact that the county is awaiting guidance to make sure it appropriates money correctly, and that obviously influences what you do with Resolution 85. I think Bonnie referenced tabling it, but for the time being, it will not be tabled. We will make an evaluation of whether or not it needs to be reintroduced on a first reading and then a second reading or not, once we get further guidance on how to move forward with the budget. That's where we are for the moment. You're sort of in uncharted territory. For your purposes, you're not going to vote on it today. Whether or not we need to go back through all those proceedings to get it back on, we'll figure that out.
Mr. Adrian, we had a motion and a second, and then comments and public comment, and then nothing. That's proper?
To be frank with you, I'm not sure if it's proper. For your purposes, we know that you can't vote on it without compromising your ability to pass a proper budget moving forward. So if you want to refer to it as tabled, you can. I don't know that would be appropriate in light of the fact that we don't know what the budgets look like when it's considered again by the commissioners.
So, Madam Chair, if I may, to our legislative council, so I understand what my colleague is saying. So maybe just for consideration through our legal aspect, if it seemed to be some difficulty here, can we make I would suggest, if it looks like it's twisted somewhat. I mean, we talked about it in budget meeting yesterday, but what happens if we use the word postponed to Tom Certain thereabout? Because like you said, you moved it, you seconded, we had comments from the public. Again, we did have this discussion in the meeting yesterday. I actually thought it was going to be just pulled the table temporarily, but we move forward with it anyway. So just for consideration.
Can I make a suggestion, kind of putting this together and hearing you all out on it? My recommendation would be motion to table it for consideration on the next meeting. See where you're at. And if you need to make a subsequent motion to continue the table, we can. If not, we can then reevaluate if you want to put a brand new budget up, whatever the case may be. So make a motion to table it for now, and we'll just make sure we're on top of it each meeting and figure out where we're at. Does that make
Madam
sense?
Chair, I'll make a motion that we table it. I don't know if we want to bring it back at the next meeting, but Tom Certain, perhaps if in fact we've received enough information from our treasurer, the county administrator, and our auditors, will determine if it comes back at the next meeting. And if not, maybe we say we bring it back 2 meetings from now, just some kind of benchmark. But I'll make a motion that we table.
Second.
Motion made in second. We have a roll call?
Well, Madam Chair, before we do that, if I may, because my colleague Vallis raised that question, does that satisfy your concerns?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
Let the record reflect.
Do we have a roll call now?
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 86, please.
Madam Chair, I recommend we don't move in second, that we just open it up to public so that we don't have to table, right? We just open it up for public comment without a motion in a second.
Well, I thought, Madam Chair, that the other ones, were good to go.
Yes, number 86 through 88 are fine. They're not impacted directly by the, at least initially impacted by the American Rescue Plan. And we've been authorized to go ahead and approve those. And
Okay,
adopt.
apologies, I was confused. I thought.
That's okay. Ouch.
Was that confused or confused?
Resolution 86.
Did I just do what he said?
Yeah, I think we
Atlantic
have,
County
we have a motion in a second already.
We had a motion in a second, then we went back to the discussion, so I'm just so. Okay, do we have any commissioner comments on resolution 86? Seeing none, any comments from the public on 86?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 87, please.
Atlantic County Library Annual Budget Notice 2021 final reading.
Motion?
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Something. Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 88, please.
Madam Clerk, you are still on mute.
Resolution to exceed the county budget appropriation limits and to establish a 2021 cap bank NJSA 48:4-45.14 final reading.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments? Okay. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to add and move resolution number 176 to the top of the agenda, which are additional appropriations to the 2021 temporary budget.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Okay. Any comments from the public? Have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 176, please.
Me a minute. Additional appropriations to the 2021 temporary budget pursuant to NJSA 48:4-20.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 143, please.
Amending Resolution Number 100, adopted February 16th, 2021, a grant agreement with the State of New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety, Office of the Attorney General for the Law Enforcement Officers Training and Equipment Fund to include subaward number LEOTEF-0121.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Any public comments?
No public comments.
We'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 144, please.
Amending Resolution Number 447, adopted October 6, 2020, grant funding from the New Jersey Department of Law and Public Safety for the SART-SANE program to include subaward number VS 2020-19.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Do I have any comments or questions from the commissioners? Seeing none, do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
I'll recuse on the board of Avanzar, which this money goes to.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That brings us to Resolution 145, please.
Grant application and acceptance from the Department of Environmental Protection for the 2020 Recycling Enhancement Act Tax Fund Entitlement, amount not to exceed $251,100.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Do I have any comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, do I have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Horsey,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 146, please.
Grant acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Children and Families for the Child Advocacy Development Grant, funded amount $35,449.70, county in-kind match $25,674.
Madam Chair, before we make a motion, it looks like we might have missed the public comment on the last item.
Did we miss public comment?
Ms. Caldwell, and I'll just indicate to her that we just type in yes if you want to speak on a resolution in that number. We're going to lift you now, Ms. Caldwell, if that's okay, Madam Chair, although I think we passed the resolution, but she can ask her question.
For 146, right?
Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. I just wanted to know what those environmental enhancements were or are for the last resolution.
So, go ahead, Joe.
No, go ahead. Good. If you want to,
Yeah, so as discussed in the budget committee meeting, I believe this is going to be used to implement enhanced recycling activities, enhanced recycling programs, all things that are identified in our solid waste management plan that have been kind of mapped out. It's really kind of handled through the ACUA. And I think we're kind of the funneling of the funds. I don't know, Jerry, you tell me if I'm saying that correctly, but that was kind of.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
right.
Thank you.
No problem, Ms. Caldwell.
Thank you. Do we have anything else from the public?
No other comments from the public.
Okay, thank you. I have a roll call? We already did on that one, right?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so that brings us to 147, please.
Yes, grant application to the Schools and Libraries Division of the Universal Service Administrative Company for the E-rate program amount not to exceed $159,276.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Do I have any comments from the commission? Hearing
Madam
none?
Chair.
Yes. Commissioner
So
Davenport?
146, we moved and seconded, and then we went back to 145. So we never voted on 146.
No, we didn't move and second it before we went to Ms. Caldwell, Frank. That's why I stopped before we moved and seconded, so.
Right. So we didn't do 146 yet.
We're doing it now.
All right, we're doing that now.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
We're doing 146 now, but I do believe I read the wrong one.
Okay.
Am I correct, ladies? Okay. Grant acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Children and Families for the Child Advocacy Development Grant, funded amount $35,449.70, county in-kind match $25,674.
Motion.
And
Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments?
Just for the board's benefit, this is additional money going toward the Child Advocacy Center that our prosecutor's office is standing up. It's a great cause.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments? Hearing none. Do we have any comments from the public?
no comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino? Bertino?
Yes, again.
And we didn't hear you.
Sorry.
Horsey? No
Yes.
worries. Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 147, please.
Grant application to the Schools and Libraries Division of the Universal Service Administrative Company for the E-rate program, amount not to exceed $159,276.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Hearing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 148.
Amended professional services agreement with Greenman Pedersen Incorporated for Delilah Road, Section 1B, inspection services to extend the term date only, no additional costs.
Motion. Second.
Motion made in second. Any commissioner comments? Hearing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries.
Looks like we lost Madam Chair. Madam
Okay.
Mr. Vice Chair,
I'm here. Yes.
you want to take over?
We're at 149, Vice Chair. And I'll read it. Renewal competitive contract with Jewish Family Services for the provision of discharge planning and reentry services to inmates of the Atlantic County Justice Facility, amount not to exceed $609,804.83.
Motion.
Motion. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Any public discussion?
No comments from the public.
Thank you. Roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
and Risley.
Yes. 150, please.
Amending Resolution Number 418, adopted September 15, 2020, a competitive contract with Stockton University and Ideal Institute of Technology for a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, out-of-school youth program, net decrease $178,833.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion by the board? Public discussion?
No public comments.
Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
and Risley.
Yes. 151.
Amending Resolution Number 417, adopted September 15, 2020, a competitive contract with the Atlantic County Special Services School District and Boys and Girls Club of Atlantic City for program year 2020 Innovation and Opportunity Act, in-school youth program, net decrease $112,000.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion by the board?
Mr. Chair, just want to make note that these two, even though it's showing net decrease, it's really kind of right sizing the budgets based on usage and the funding that follows that usage. It'll adjust itself as the usage goes back up again.
Thank you. Any public discussion?
No public.
Hearing none, roll call.
Uh-oh.
That's two down at the freeholder
Must be-
office. I know.
It
Yeah.
must be some
Must be
commissioner's
something, yeah.
office. That's over the commissioner's office, no freeholders.
Yeah.
Something's wrong with the server. Risley, call the roll.
That's right. Call the roll. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
John, we lost the clerk.
Yeah.
Lost the
Lost
clerk.
the clerk too? Oh,
Yeah.
Lost the clerk.
Yes. Yes. Well, we know, Commissioner Ballas, I'll just go right on.
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Go ahead, Jerry. Yes.
okay, Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes. Way to step up, Jerry.
okay, Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes.
He gets
Okay.
the big bucks.
Yes.
Step it up.
Okay,
That's why he
Okay.
gets the big
We
bucks.
have,
You're
we
right.
have the
All right.
chairwoman back, so
great.
All right.
we have the clerk back.
It's back.
We doing
Hey.
musical chairs right now.
Hey, okay.
So
Hey,
let the record reflect as the clerk and the
Oh.
chairwoman has received back resolution 151 was a roll call by the county administrator and it passed.
Madam
Unanimously.
Clerk,
Is the
Madam
clerk?
Clerk, I just want to ask one question. Am I seeing correctly? Commissioner Corsi, on my screen keeps coming and going. It's like he's the invisible man. One time he's there, then he's not there. Is that, okay,
Goes
okay.
to that.
I just
Happens.
want,
He does that in the office a lot.
Are we on 152?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think, Madam Clerk, you might be muted. Is anybody hearing Madam Clerk?
Madam Chair, she was not
Oh,
on.
she,
She's saying, wait 1 minute.
He's saying, wait a
You
minute.
gotta turn the volume up. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen.
I've only been doing this for a year, you know.
Yeah, well, you know. If me, it was the old, I had to turn it off and turn it back on. I don't know what happened.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, you just can't hear. She's working on, they're working on it.
I mean, we could continue, right? She can hear us. So one of us can read the resolution.
We'll give her a minute. Let's see if she does it.
A lot of technical support there too.
Yes, she does.
Hey, Jerry, while we're waiting, I'm gonna probably make a resolution up to next meeting that we can come back in person, 6 feet distance, because we've opened up some stuff and we seem to be having some technical problems, whether we near or far. So we might
Love
be
to
able
see
to
everybody again.
come back into the building.
Can you hear me now?
We
Yes.
can.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. We are now on 152.
Correct.
Well, we didn't do an official roll call on 151. I think the county administrator did it for me, and I'm not
Correct.
sure if we recorded all the votes.
Oh, okay. So you.
All the votes was in favor. You can do it if you want to, but they all voted yes.
Thank you. I could hear and see you. You just couldn't hear and see me. But for the record, let me do it officially.
Thank you.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes,
didn't bring
motion
mine.
carries. Resolution 152.
Renewal bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver medical supplies, amount not to exceed $104,533.
Move.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 153.
Renewal bid contract with satellite tracking of people for the provision of GPS home electronic equipment and services for the Atlantic County Justice Facility. Amount not to exceed $40,094.
So moved.
Motion.
Motion made second. Any discussion or comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Tino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 154.
Bid contract with various vendors to furnish and deliver non-perishable food to the Department of Human Services, amount not to exceed $251,282.61.
Motion. Second.
Motion made in second. Do we have any comments or discussion from the commissioners? Seeing none, anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Tino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 155, please.
Bid contract with Leeway Electrical Limited Liability Corporation to provide supplemental electrical maintenance and repairs amount not to exceed $129,400.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments or discussion from the commissioners? Hearing none. Anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 156, please.
Change order number 4, a contract with Arawak Paving Company Incorporated for various mill and overlay road projects to extend the term date net increase $30,619.99.
Motion.
There's second.
Second.
Hey, any comments or discussion with the commissioners?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Corsi?
I yield to my senior member first.
I don't think Commissioner Baus is ready to speak.
And we're referring to you.
Oh, thank you. Just Jerry, could you please explain the change orders or have our engineer do it, whoever's available?
I think John's on, and I went through this with the budget subcommittee.
Sit on the budget
Yes.
subcommittee. Could you repeat it?
What, this is for an existing contract. It's an extension. The 31,000 additional dollars is for items that were not listed as pay items in the original contract. This is the on-call paving contract. So there's some items that were not listed as pay items, so we had to add those and account for that additional funding. These are for contracts. This is not something that's done already. This is an upcoming paving contract for the upcoming paving season.
Thank you.
These are the on-call stuff?
That's correct. Yes, it is.
Okay, that explained it. Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I?
Commissioner Corsi?
As I indicated, we talked about this in the budget subcommittee yesterday. I noticed that it didn't get by me, but this is the 4th change order with Airwax. I think I voted against a couple of them already. I plan on doing the same thing today, but it's interesting that net increase of $30,000 plus. But even with that, I know some stuff you just can't avoid doing. But John, you indicated this is for some upcoming paving projects.
That's
And if that is accurate, where would these upcoming paving projects located at?
okay. It's the on-call contract. So as different ones are identified, there's a couple that are coming up. One is the piece between Route 40 and Tuckahoe Road that we have control over, where we've had multiple pothole complaints out in Buena Vista Township, Buena Borough. Another piece is Wrangleboro Road, immediately, I would call it north of the expressway exit there. That has multiple potholes in Hamilton Township. And then as others come on, I just wanted to bring out that those other change orders for this particular contract, we had to, since again, before we didn't do the change orders up front, there were some, again, drainage basins and inlets that had to be put in place in your favorite town, Hamilton. And we had to do change orders in order to add them as pay items because we didn't have that in the original contract. So we were informed that we needed to put them in and had to do those change orders. There was no change in dollars until today. And this change, like I said, is for those upcoming projects that have different items that were not in the original on-call contract. We're learning, this is something we just started last year, as you know, and we're learning as we go the different things that can come up in field changes because they weren't into, as you stated earlier, they just weren't anticipated. So these are items that weren't initially anticipated. We know they're coming up in these next couple of contracts, and that's why we requested this change ahead of time. So there won't be a change order after the fact.
Okay, so given that explanation, if all possible, can I get a list of the upcoming paving roads that we're looking, not just the 2 or 3 that you just named, but can you provide me with that? And as you said, stuff always come up unexpected. But when you look at it, y'all know how I am about change orders. Change order number 4, the flag always go up. But I think you gave a good synopsis of what this is all about. So I may have to reconsider my thought on this one.
We can and we will. But give you a list of the upcoming paving projects. Sorry, Commissioner.
All right. Madam Chair, if I just like to add, in the resolution, it talks about reductions of work as well. So I think that should be pointed out. So that's a net differential. We had almost $75,000 of new work and reduction of $44,000 in work. So the net is 30.
So John, because you're a mathematic fanatic, you're telling me that it is basically a wash.
Well, practically, I mean, you're looking at $1 million contract, over $1 million contract. So you're looking about $30,000. That's a very small percentage.
But I guess my question to you is because you're a mathematic fanatic.
No, I trust Mr. Peterson.
Okay. All right. Okay. You answered it. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
And maybe we can, for the next meeting or two, have an update from the roads and bridges. That be okay? Who chairs that? Mr. Bertino, do you chair that?
Yes,
I'm saying yes, I was on mute. Yes, we'll have your report for you guys. I'll have Jerry get a copy out to all the commissioners prior to the meeting.
Okay, you tell me which meeting is good for you. I didn't want to put you on the spot with that, but it would be a good time, for that. Thank you. Do I have any other comments from our commissioners or discussion?
No, but I still, Madam Chair, just to John again, I still want a list of all the roads that's projected to be paved in this coming year.
Yep. Okay, do we have anything from the public?
We will give you that list as currently comported. There are, as I said, especially on the on-call, those can change.
Absolutely. Understood. Thank you.
John. And do we have anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
John convinced me, yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 157, please.
Authorizing the execution of a business associate agreement between the New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Aging Services, and the Atlantic County Office on Aging to be included with the 2021-2022 State Health Insurance Assistance Program grant.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion or comments or questions for the commissioners? Hearing none. Do we have any from the public?
No comments from the public.
May I have roll call, please?
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 158, please.
Resolution to comply with the Department of Human Services requirement for a standardized resolution to be filed with the 2021-2022 State Health Insurance Program grant by the Atlantic County Office of Aging.
Motion. Second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion or comments from the commissioners? Hearing none. Do we have anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 159.
Designating the planning director and the Department of Regional Planning and Development as the parties responsible for water use registration for wells on property acquired by the county for open space preservation.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Do I have any comments or discussion from the commissioners? Hearing none. Do I have anything from the public?
Ballas? Oh, no comments from the public.
In a hurry, huh?
Just a tad.
Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 160, please.
Agreement with Stockton University Stockton Center on Successful Aging to conduct the Atlantic County Area Aging Agency on Aging's 2022-2024 Area Plan Needs Assessment Survey. Amount not to exceed $21,716.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Yes, I have a comment.
Okay, Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. I think that this is the first time that the Department on Aging has partnered with Stockton University, and it's an excellent example of sharing services and partnering with our community to get the best results for something that we need for the people who live here. The survey is very complicated and long, very detailed. And using Stockton's service is people who do that every day as part of their life, and they do a really good job with it. So I'm really happy to see that our aging department is using it, and I think we'll get really great results.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Sure.
Do we have any other commissioner comments?
Madam Chair, just to kind of build off of that, it should be recognized that our leadership in the Department on Aging actually made that outreach to Stockton and took it upon themselves. And I thought it was a really great example of kind of thinking out of the box and looking to, do things a little differently than we normally do. So I just want to give kudos to those employees.
Great, thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other commissioner comments? Hearing none. Do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 161.
Interlocal agreement with the Township of Galloway to conduct a drainage study of the area bounded by Jimmy Leeds Road, County Route 561, Pitney Road, County Route 634, Ridgewood, and 4th Avenue. Amount not to exceed $75,000.
Motion. Second.
Motion been made in second. Do I have any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair,
Yep, Commissioner Corsi.
I'm going to support this resolution. I only have one comment, which would probably go to our engineer department through Jerry. All that work that was done on Jimmy Leeds Road, and now we're coming back for this, even with 4th Avenue. I think it kind of strikes me that we're going backwards with all that money we spend out there. I mean, whether it's Ridgewood, 4th Avenue, parts of Jimmy Leeds and Pitney. And Pitney and Jimmy Leeds, that was where a lot of that work was done out there. I mean, I'm going to support the resolution. I just wish they would have been able to look at a lot of this while they were out there doing that additional work. Now we're coming back with a resolution for $75,000 to look at drainage, et cetera. I know there's been a lot of issues out there. I think we all would agree Jimmy Leeds Road looks outstanding. And like I said, I'm going to support the resolution. I just thought we could have picked this up earlier.
Thank you,
Um,
Commissioner.
Madam Chair, just want to make note that the township is picking up half the cost of this.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Commissioner.
Half of
Chair,
the
if I may.
75? Is that half of the 75, Chairwoman?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. Yeah, Madam Chair?
Commissioner Days.
Yeah, so again, Commissioner Gatto is correct. The Township of Galloway passed their resolution regarding this issue last month. I believe it was February 9th or so. And I understand also, I spoke with Mayor Gorman earlier, that the county is going to put the money up front, and then the township will reimburse the county. And then mainly the study, Commissioner Corsi, is the municipal complex has had severe flooding issues for years. That Patriot Lake is flooding. So it's more to kind of work with the township, work with the county because of the work that was done on 6th Avenue with Jimmy Leeds. Hopefully they can kind of maybe tie in and quote me or correct me if I'm wrong, John, tie in with some of our drainage that we put in because of the recent work that was up there. Hoping that would alleviate some of the drainage concerns on the municipal complex property. So John or something.
Not too far down the street there, Commissioner Day, right past 6th Avenue, didn't the county buy some property and put a drainage system in there? I thought that was going to alleviate a whole lot, but just as a little farther up, I get it. I mean, I get it. I'm going to support the resolution. I just thought we could have caught all of that while they were doing all the additional work on Jimmy Lee's Road early on.
Thank you.
They wanted to, but it was a change order, Commissioner.
I noticed the change order, Amy. You don't keep reminding me. I might change my mind.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Mhm.
Do I have any other comments from the commissioners?
As
We have
Frank
anything-
would say, with some substance.
That's what I'm supposed to say. Do we have any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 162, please.
Alternate method contract with Cooper Hospital for 2020 inmate medical services amount not to exceed $66,662.78.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
A roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 163.
Alternate method contract with Cooper Hospital for 2021 inmate medical services amount not to exceed $50,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 164, please.
Resolution requesting a transfer in the 2020 budget in accordance with the provision of NJS 40A:4-58.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 166, please.
Resolution in support of Atlantic County Improvement Authority issuing bonds for the Community Initiative Development Corporation, Atlantic City Limited Liability Corporation, indoor pool and recreation facility project in Atlantic City, no cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. Any comments or discussion from the commissioners?
Madam Chair, I don't know if we're going to have the Executive Director, Lamy, say any words. I see he's on. But I do want to just commend the ACIA for taking this step and being a part of this project. I think it's a really great first step in us emerging from the pandemic and having some good energy, coming to fruition with regard to development. And, we always hear people say that, we have to do something to help businesses. And this is something that we're doing to help. And I think the ACIA offers a lot of opportunity for those who don't know. And if they have a business, should be going to that type of authority for some assistance. But I think this is a really great next step for Atlantic City and for Atlantic County.
Great comments, Commissioner. Mr. Lamy, did you want to say anything?
This is a great project for the Improvement Authority to get involved in. Everybody's well aware of the negative impact that the advent of casino gaming had in other jurisdictions locally, and how it hurt our economy. And of course, one of the keys to recovering from that is the diversification in various sectors of the economy. When we had the plan done by Angelo Economics to the Atlantic County Economic Development Strategy and Action Plan, one of the things that it identified was diversification in the tourism segment that could be created by non-casino indoor theme parks that will provide family recreation and expand the tourism season. This is a great way to utilize the powers of the Improvement Authority to issue financing to facilitate a project that will have no recourse to the authority, no impact on the county, no county guarantee, and it will create jobs and a tax rateable for the city. So we're enthused about being involved with this project.
Thank you, Mr. Lamy.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Commissioner Corsi.
John, I think that, and Amy hit it on the head, but I think for the public, I think you should name what this project is and where it's located, and then I'll come back with some additional comments.
Sure. The project is being developed by Community Initiatives Development Corporation. It is a nonprofit. They are leasing property from the Showboat. So it'll be built adjacent to the Showboat. They will be entering into a management agreement with the Showboat, who will be managing the operation.
Not for profit.
And it's a not-for-profit, so it is all governed by IRS regulations, limiting the profits to the management company.
Okay.
And what
the reason
happened?
I wanted you. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Amy.
I wanted John to talk about the charitable donation aspect if there is a profit.
Yeah. So if there are excess revenues generated from the project, there will be a advisory committee that is required by IRS regulations to put the excess revenues back into the community for charitable purposes. That the advisory committee will be advising where that money goes.
Okay. Madam Chair, if I may.
Yep, Commissioner.
And so I thought it was important for John to explain exactly to the public, because if you read the resolution, they don't have a clue what it is we're referring to when we talk about family entertainment, et cetera. This has been a project that Mayor Marty Small has been pushing along with the Showboat owners. We often talk about family attractions. Y'all all know that when folks come to the shore, they skip Atlantic City, go directly to Wildwood or Ocean City. We're trying to get some of that family entertainment back outside of the casinos. We all know that Showboat is not a casino, and that we thought it was good for the city. It's good for, like John said, jobs, tax ratables, et cetera. but I know that Mayor Small has been pushing and pushing for stuff like this. We've got some other stuff on the horizon. Real soon, we're going to be announcing. We thought this would be a good kickoff for Atlantic City. The other thing is we've known for years, other parts of the Atlantic City talked about water parks. I think the last one, John, and correct me if I'm wrong, was the old Hilton. That was at one point they talked about a water park theme. That didn't happen. We talked about Great Wolf Lodge that was scheduled to do Beta Field. That got scrapped. So this one looks like it's ready to get rock and rolling. Some shovels and cranes in the air, local folks to get some work. And like you said, the nonprofit organization that will reap some of the benefits from this, I think it's a win-win across the board. And I'm like Amy, I commend you, John, and the Improvement Authority for stepping up when we needed it most. As folks knocking down Atlantic City, they got others trying to build it up. And I think this is going to be great, a good partnership for Atlantic City, and certainly with the Improvement Authorities stepping up to assist as they've done in a couple other projects, and that you're going to be doing with some other projects that's coming down the pike. John, I'm just giving you full warning that not to put you on the spot, but there's some other projects coming. We're certainly looking forward to the Improvement Authority to assist us in any way they can. But I thought it was important to let the public know this was an issue that was going to be a showboat. And I think we can't wait to get the shovels and stuff in the ground. So thank you, John. As Amy said, it's a win-win.
Thank you. And I think I just want to add that, our board is 100% for it. They voted for it unanimously. It went to the local finance board, the state, they voted for it unanimously. So everybody's on board with this project.
Correct. Let the record reflect that Roy Foster said, I better say something because I saw him on the screen earlier. So Roy, I told you I was going to speak on John's behalf, and John and the board is doing an outstanding job. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Days.
Thank you. Yeah, so for far too long, we've been hearing about, we need jobs in Atlantic City, we need diversification, and we need family entertainment. This is a huge step in the right direction to get this done. And as Commissioner Coursey said, hopefully now this snowballs and we have other projects, like the project that happened at the Steel Pier with the Ferris wheel, where we can gather some of the tourists that are going everywhere but Atlantic City, except to gamble. And as we've heard many times, as Atlantic City goes to county. So, we count on Atlantic City here in Atlantic County, and we're glad the Improvement Authority, has thought outside the box and is able to put this package together and make sure that this project gets completed. And we thank you for that, John.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners? Thank you again, John. We appreciate everything. Do we have any comments from the public?
Yes, we do. Yes. We're going to lift Ms. Olivia Caldwell from an attendee to a panelist. And Ms. Caldwell, you can speak.
Good evening, and thank you so much for that information. I appreciate all of the additional comments that were made by the commissioners. It really did help with my understanding. I do want to ask, is there a timeline on this project? As well as the commissioners talked about jobs, do we know how many jobs and what types of jobs that will be made available as a result of this project?
Ski is also, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I think that Jeff Wadnitzky is also on, I don't know if he's on as a panelist or an attendee, but he is actually part of the project team as well as Bill Lowenstein.
He is on, I believe, as a panelist. Did you want him to make comments?
Jeff Wadnitzky, if possible.
William Lewinsky? No.
Jeffrey.
Oh, okay. I see Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff?
Yes, hi.
Thank you.
Yes, so I'll answer both questions. I think the first question was timeline for the project. Well, we're looking to get shovels in the ground in weeks, and we expect to open hopefully within 18 months of that, depending on, materials, time. It's at the beach, so weather could get in the way, but that is our hope. And the second question was jobs. So we expect hundreds of construction jobs right out of the gate. And in terms of the actual operation of the facility, we expect year-round somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 full-time jobs and about 240 part-time jobs. And then seasonally, the summer months is really what we're thinking about. That's when most people visit the shore. Full-time jobs about 120 and part-time jobs over 300. So a lot of jobs for a lot of folks, very aggressive construction timeline, and we can't wait to get the facility open. We think it's going to be really great for the city and for Atlantic County as a whole.
Thank you.
I have one more question, if I might.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Well, what is the capacity of this pool, of this indoor pool?
Several pools, one of which is a wave riding pool, one of which is a lazy river. I mean, you may have seen those where you sort of get in a tube and float all the way around. We've got one that's sort of a kid's pool with lots of splash rides and that kind of stuff. So it depends on which area of the facility you're talking about. There's water slides, which are also a separate area of the facility. There's a couple of restaurants and a couple of walk-up bars. So each individual area has a different capacity limit, as you can imagine. I don't mean to evade the question, but it really depends where you are in the facility at any given time and what the capacity for that. But we certainly expect, at full capacity, over 1,000 or so on a daily basis, for sure.
That is fantastic. Is there a rendering of this fabulous project?
Yeah, there are several. I don't have one to specifically share. I think the Improvement Authority has one, and we can certainly make them available to the Board of Commissioners so that if the public is interested, they can take a look. I would say though, we're keeping it a little bit closer to the vest because, as you can probably imagine, in this particular space, water park space, it's very competitive, and people like to see what other people are doing by way of attractions, right? So if you think about it, you want the best things in the world. So we don't like to show people behind the curtain, but we can show you outside, right? To see what it looks like. It's going to be great. I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you, Jeff. Ms. Caldwell, do you have any other questions or comments?
I'm muted. Oh, okay. Now I'm unmuted. Thank you so much. It sounds fantastic. I'm very excited for the county.
We look forward to seeing you there.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments or questions from the public?
That concludes the questions from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Very exciting, yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern?
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 167.
Amending resolution number 403, adopted August 30th, 2016, which renewed the Atlantic County Cooperative Pricing System to add commodity resale cooperative to the renewal agreement, no cost.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made and second. Any comments from the commissioners? Hearing none. Any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Alice?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Horsey?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 168, please.
Agreement between the County of Atlantic and Stockton University concerning construction and jurisdictional control of a traffic signal and related improvements at the intersection of Vera King Ferris Drive and Pomona Road, County Route 575, amount not to exceed $995,000.
Move.
Second.
Motion made second. Any comments from the commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Days.
I just have two quick questions. Number one, what kind of a time frame are we looking at here? I guess Jerry or John. And number two, I know when the initial improvements were done to Pomona Road, work stopped in anticipation of this traffic signal being constructed. So will this tie everything together up to the parkway, or what are the plans once the Stockton intersection signal is complete?
Yeah, John and Mark are both.
Yeah, I'll answer the first question in that, well, what was the first question? I was going to answer the second question.
The first question was about a time frame.
Oh, time frame. Okay, it's right now, we're working when I say we, it is a joint project between Stockton and the county. Stockton has already originated consultant design, which is at 95 to 98% complete. So it's about ready to go to bid. It's hitting all of the permitting, and they're coming up with the money and everything. We're hoping to be ready to go to bid sometime late this year, probably in the fall, and I'll let Mark speak to that. But yes, it will tie everything together from where we started paving on Pomona Road all the way up to the Parkway. Mark, you want to talk about what the time frame is? I don't have a real good handle on that.
Well, the first thing we need is to get the State House Commission approval on some additional right-of-way issues. The property that Stockton sits on is actually state-owned property, and the additional right-of-way needs to be acquired. So that's the first threshold issue that we've got to deal with, clear the way to start the signal process. Once the signal process is started, the actual construction, we anticipate about a 3 or 4 month window to do the entire work. We may shorten it down, but that includes quite a bit of geometry work and stormwater work associated with that intersection. To answer Commissioner Day's question with regard to the paving, there are actually 4 pieces of the paving project along Pomona Road. The paving project that took place a year and a half ago, or started a year and a half ago, and was completed from the Pike, or almost at the Pike, to Mulch World across from Stockton's recreation fields. That was stopped there because there's another intersection project that Stockton has to recreate that intersection at the rec fields. The next section along Pomona Road is a portion of the road that extends beyond that new intersection at the rec fields, proceeds all the way up to this intersection, and then jumps to the other side of it and takes it all the way to the Parkway. That will leave 2 gaps in the paving project along Pomona Road, one at each intersection. So we anticipate that work has already been awarded by you, the commissioners, and will start this spring, that paving project. The project for the signal, we hope to go out to bid near the end of this year. We would hope that we would actually be able to get the some of the work started late in the year, and then finish it up in the early spring. So that's the schedule and the timing that we have.
Thank you. Commissioner Days, do you have any other questions?
That's good for now. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any other comments or remarks from the commissioners?
Madam Chair.
Yep, Commissioner Ballas.
Yeah, for Mark or John, do you anticipate any DEP or Pinelands problems that would delay this in any way?
As John Peterson pointed out, the Stockton had contracted the consultant in this case was Pannoni Associates. They have worked with Stockton for a number of years on all those projects. They know the memorandum of understanding that Stockton has between the university and Pinelands, and they have assured us that that's not going to be an issue that will delay the project.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, anything from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, we have a roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 169.
Professional services agreement with various attorneys for various legal services, amount not to exceed $600,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion made in second. Any comments or discussion from the commissioners? Hearing none, anything from the public?
Madam Chair.
Okay.
Oh, Commissioner.
Thank you. Just a quick question for Jerry. Can you outline, generally speaking, what the services generally are? Are they litigations or are they normal county operations?
County counsel is on, and he'll go through the successful bidders. Jim.
But most of this would involve litigation. As you know, we handle most of our cases in-house, and a number of our cases go through the Atlantic County Insurance Commission. But there are occasionally cases that come up where we run into conflict situations, or a matter may be significantly difficult and outside our area of expertise, and then we would reach out to outside counsel to handle it. Also, occasionally, and it's been a while now, but occasionally we might run into a conflict situation regarding a labor matter or things of that nature, and we would go out. I will tell you, last year we spent, I think it was less than $10,000 on outside counsel. So we don't use outside counsel a lot, but it's nice to have them there, ready to go if the need arises. So that's why we have a rather significant list of law firms that would qualify.
One more question, Jim. The 600,000, is that pretty close to the budgeted amount we had last year?
That amount it's been at that figure for, I think, the last 4 or 5 years, at least.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Ferguson.
Madam Chair?
Yep. Commissioner Ballas?
Just one quick question for Mr. Ferguson. Jim, the matter that arose from the sheriff's office, although it's being handled now in-house, in case it does in some way get to outside counsel, should I abstain from this, or is it okay to vote on it?
No, you can vote on that because you don't have any current interest that conflicts with that. So my opinion, you can vote on it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any other comments from the commissioners? See none. Anything from the public?
Yes, Mr. Creed Pogue is on. We'll lift him, and he's lifted. Mr. Pogue, you can speak.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I guess, Madam Chair, directly to Mr. Ferguson, if that's okay, the two questions are, I guess there's really three. One was, when was the RFP? The second is, were there firms that submitted a reply that aren't on this list in the resolution? And three, if I heard you correctly, it was $10,000 last year. Is that more like the real number for the last few years, or just because of COVID, it was much less and it would be closer to the 600,000 figure on an average year?
Let me take the last question first. I think it's been a long time since we've come close to $600,000. And the last several years, I think we've been every year, and you're stretching my memory now on this, but my recollection is we normally routinely have the last few years been spending anywhere from like $30,000 to $50,000 on outside counsel. There were times in the past, and this was before we went to the insurance commission, when we were self-insured, that the number would be much higher. But we've been in the insurance commission now since the beginning of 2015. In terms of the RFP, I believe for this went out in October. We received responses in November, and we then put the list together, and quite frankly, probably should have had this in place to go before the board probably back in January. And just with some other things that I was working on, matters got deferred a little bit. But the fact of the matter is we've not had to use outside counsel on any matter of substance. And all of these firms meet qualifications. Some we've used in the past. There's some newer firms, and they're on the list and possibly could be used if the situation arises.
I was just curious whether anyone had submitted that didn't wind up being incorporated into the resolution.
My recollection is that anyone who responded to the RFP is on the list.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
And to the council.
Thank you.
Do we have anything else from the public?
No other comments from the public.
Okay, we have a roll call.
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Again.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Risley?
Yes.
And Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 170.
Grant application and acceptance from the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, Division of Local Government Services for the Local Efficiency Achievement Program, funds to promote the establishment of a countywide municipal court system. Funded amount $150,000, in-kind match $704,010.
Motion.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any comments or discussion from the commissioners?
Yeah, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes, couple questions. I know that the county administration has been pushing for this countywide court system for a while now. Not for a while, but recently, trying to do shared services. So let the record reflect that I know that there are some municipalities who are not interested in this. I know that I heard the county executive on local radio the other day. He certainly is pushing this. He's had conversations with Senator Sweeney, who passed or introduced some legislation to talk about shared services, and I think we all would agree in some areas shared services are certainly needed. But when the request came to Atlantic City, we was not interested. We're not interested in the shared services for municipal court. One is we handle somewhere between 45 and 50,000 cases a year. And I am sure that the county do not want to pick up that burden. I know there's been some talk about if in fact municipalities join into the shared services regarding the courts, either folks would lose their jobs or revenues would leave the municipalities. That is a big concern for a lot of municipalities. Even some towns that I've talked to have that same concern if they would lose the funding and it would go to the county. I noticed it's early stages of this countywide municipal court. However, it would not work for Atlantic City for a number of reasons. We did do a response back to the county executive telling me why we were not interested. But I know some other municipalities are not in support of it. Some small towns, when you talk about places like Margate, Longport, little teeny boroughs, I understand those who are not being governed by way of big towns. It may work for them. Everybody worry about and concerned about home rules. I get it. But again, I can't stress enough that when you look at Atlantic City's court load, 45 to 50,000 plus people a year, that is probably the biggest in the county. I don't know if anybody has taken the time to, except in this pandemic, that even went into our courts to see what it actually entails. We have 2 full-time judges. We have a conflict judge, just to keep up with a lot of the backlog. Fortunately for some and unfortunate for others, because of the pandemic, a lot of it's been handled by Zoom. I understand what it is that the county is attempting to do in conjunction with Senator Sweeney and others. I wanted to go on the record to make it very clear that this is not something that Atlantic City supports at this time. That doesn't mean it doesn't work for other municipalities. I won't name the other municipalities at this time who have come out against it for their own towns. They can kind of speak for themselves. But we did a letter to the administration expressing our position. And so I will not be supporting this resolution on that reason at this particular time and point.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments?
Madam Chair.
Yep, Commissioner Gatto.
Thank you. So I was kind of skeptical about I do want to compliment Mr. Ferguson. He really gave a detailed and comprehensive presentation on the matter. And I do think a lot of good due diligence work has been done thus far. And I'm pleased to see that. The numbers were very interesting. It does seem like there would be a significant benefit to a number of the towns who are interested in participating, which is good to see. I was interested to see that the towns would actually keep their revenue streams that come from court revenue. That would also then help offset their county share, expense share into the program. So I did think that was a good component. My only concern that I've brought up on numerous shared service things that we discussed is the employees, as Commissioner Porter touched on. You know, we have many towns that are civil service and many towns that are not civil service. So the question that I always have is, what happens if the county is becoming the provider to those non-civil service employees? Because they should not just be left out in the cold. They have a significant level of talent and expertise that should be considered. So I know that is a question that is still needs to be resolved, but I was assured that the committee is working through that. So I look forward to the response on that. So with that, I will be supporting this. I do think, again, that a lot of good due diligence has been done. I was concerned about whether or not the number of towns that have currently committed had to stay committed in order for this to move forward, or if it could move forward regardless. I think the legislation that would have to be passed to enable it was going to require that at least 5 towns had to go. So I think that will be pretty easily achieved with the number of towns that were interested. So seems like I think there's still a number of steps that have to be done, including the state legislation that has to be passed. But again, has been good. It's been detailed. I I do think the questions that are still out there are being taken seriously, and I would hope that this board would continue to be updated as we move along. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gatto. Do I,
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Days?
Did you vouch? Yeah. Just to be clear, this is a grant for the study, correct? I don't want anybody to be, to misunderstand and think that we're approving, consolidation of the courts into one county court with this. And number two, I believe I did ask Jerry to provide at some point a meeting to provide us with some updated information as far as the progress with this discussion on the consolidated county courts.
Well, let me just say, from the point of view of updating, we just, let's be clear, we went to the Shared Service Committee on Friday, and Mr. Ferguson made a presentation. So if the full board wanted the presentation, unless you want to do it publicly, or we'd have to do it in, in committee form. And, Jim put the application in for the 150,000. So let Jim explain to you what's in this 150,000. You're still there, right, Jim?
Yes, I am. This is a grant, what's called a challenge grant. It's for the purposes, among other things, of determining the feasibility of this. I think that application went in on the 26th. It's been supplemented with some resolutions. Some of the towns came on a little later in the game. For instance, we got resolutions recently from, I believe, Brigantine and Galloway Township, Summers Point, and a few others. I think we've got 11 or 12 resolutions of support from the various towns to do this. To go back to some of the issues that were raised earlier, this has been a comprehensive project, comprehensive in scope. It involves not only the municipalities, but we have significant involvement from the court system. I've been working closely with Howard Birchtold, who is the trial court administrator, Judge Mendez, the assignment judge, as well as retired Superior Court Judge Mark Sanson. And they've been putting budgetary figures together, which would indicate that this model, if adopted, would attain significant savings for the municipalities. And the plan is for the municipalities to retain the revenue that they would get. For instance, if a summons issues out of Galloway Township and there's a fine imposed, Galloway Township would get to keep that fine money plus the court costs. The county's contribution to this is we would be refurbishing areas in the government services building on Main Street in Mays Landing, which is referred to by a lot of us old timers as the old criminal courthouse. We've done several walkthroughs of that property, and several of the rooms can be easily upgraded to use as municipal courtrooms. There'd be room in the back to make judges' chambers, working areas for municipal prosecutors and municipal public defenders. And the plan would call for approximately a 1,500 square foot area to be used for administrative office space. The whole facility would be very well contained within that building. The initial plans would call for two courtrooms to be furnished immediately, with a third one being available should the need arise. Preliminary budgets have been worked on. That's an ever-changing process, and I also drew up a draft, what's referred to as a tripartite agreement, which would be between the county, the courts, and the participating municipalities. The agreement would call for the formation of both governance committee and a personnel committee. The governance committee would work each year in conjunction with myself and the county administrator and the court administrator of this system to formulate the court budget, which would then, the costs of that would be billed back to the various municipalities based on their pro rata share of the number of cases that they have to the total number of cases that the court system would have. So for instance, if Galloway Township, for instance, had 10% of the cases, then the total budgetary figure, they would pay 10% of that, and so on. The Personnel Committee, which would be made up of representatives from the municipalities, would meet and would review resumes and things for the various positions, including the judges, the prosecutor, public defender, and the administrative staff. So there would be buy-in in all phases of this by the participating municipalities. While this is envisioned that it would be run by the county, assuming the legislation that Senator Sweeney has said he would support, the municipalities would have tremendous buy-in into this process in terms of the governance and assisting with personnel. So there is, Commissioner Gatto is right, there is still a lot of work to be done, but I feel we're on a good course here. And this would be a true shared services agreement in every sense of that word. So that's a brief outline of it.
Madam Chair, if I may.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you. Sorry, Commissioner Corsi. I'll be very brief.
It's okay. I knew she was going to skip over me to go to you anyway. It's okay.
I'm just a little confused because $704,000 is a whole lot of match for a study. So can somebody tell me what is that match, please? Is that the refurbishing of the courthouse?
Yes.
So this is not a study. We're voting to approve this.
No, you're voting to approve the LEAP grant, which is primarily designed for the feasibility study. I worked in close conjunction with Rick Ricardella from the Division of Local Government Services and with Eileen Brennan, who works with him. And they had indicated that, because I asked them specifically, they asked those questions about matches and so on. And he said, that's where you should put in the figures that would deal with the refurbishing of the courthouse, the providing of things, and some of what's reflected there are figures from the court, who would be providing a lot of the IT services and the computerized system and the recording system for the court. So that it is built in, but the LEAP grant itself is to determine the feasibility of it. And that's what the municipalities would be signing onto at the current time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Commissioner
Go ahead.
Fitzpatrick, it is a little misleading, the title, but the description, it says as part of the grant that we would supply matching funds, and this is what we would be doing. And I think it had to be detailed out as part of that grant application. So yeah,
that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Corsi.
Madam Chair, just if I may interject briefly, I just want everybody to consider whether or not, their own, I know people have various different roles in townships and municipalities. So just consider whether or not a particular member of the board may have a conflict, and an unknown conflict, but a conflict nonetheless, in being involved in this potential vote. I'm just going to throw it out there. I don't know what everybody does, but I know sometimes people serve different roles in some of these municipalities that might also have an interest in the resolution that's before you. So I'm just going to caution everybody on that and give the floor back to you.
Thank you, Mr. Andrew. Good point.
Madam Chair, let me. I'm gonna make a comment on our attorney's comment for a minute from now. But let me go back to a couple of things. One is that what is the benefit to the county if, in fact, they're going to make sure that the municipalities continue to keep their court fees, et cetera? That's one. Two is we have not had an update from Frank Formica regarding shared services in the municipalities. Let me rephrase that. I have not. Can't speak for the rest of y'all because some of y'all have. side meetings, and most of us are not informed of them. So he might have informed y'all of the thoughts and thinkings of some of the municipalities. And so I'm trying to figure out if it's going to be money left to the municipalities for court fees and et cetera, what is the benefits to the county? And second of all, I can't think nothing but to go back to say that I remember when the county was attempting to do the countywide dispatch, and that fell through because either the towns didn't get enough information, but everybody that they thought were on board wound up not being on board. All those renderings that was made that talked about the countywide dispatch over at Stockton did not happen, and we spent somewhere probably $300,000-$500,000 on renderings of taxpayers' money, only to have it defeated when the administration finally decided to pull it because a number of municipalities did not sign on as they anticipated to do so. And so I take all that into consideration, but I want to go back to our attorney here and let him know that I hear you loud and clear. And you made a comment about someone may have worked in a municipality that may affect. I don't know if you was throwing that at me or not, but if you was, it's okay. As a county official, it still represents a municipality. I have an obligation and responsibility to certainly look out for the taxpayers of the district in which I represent. And so I would think, and certainly I would disagree with you if you believe it's a conflict or appearance of a conflict. I appreciate you making that remark. I respectfully disagree with you. It is amazing that, you know, I realize that this is a grant application to talk about the feasibilities of it, but I went on record to make it very clear from where I stood as the city, and we know that there's other municipalities out there who do not support this, but I would like for Jerry to provide, whether it's me or all the members of the commission of the league, at least the municipalities who said they really signed on. You don't have to give me their names. You know, I'd just like to get an idea how many for and against at this point in time, because a lot of them, you'll agree with me, they're small towns. You know, I look at Pleasantville. Let me use Pleasantville, for example, for shared service in the 911 dispatch. And I speak from experience. Had an incident in Pleasantville, called the Pleasantville number. It went to a dispatch center that was contracted with the city of Pleasantville. Unfortunate, the joker didn't even know where the side streets were, didn't know how to get there, and then took forever to dispatch it back to the communications, to the police department back in Pleasantville. That's just one incident when you talk in terms of shared services and how critical this type is, whether it's the courts, whether it's the fire department, whether it's the police department, and whether it's, you know, a number of things. Shared services work for some municipalities, no question about it. But I have not heard lately from our shared service coordinator. I'm sure he is working diligently with some municipalities getting feedback. And it'd be nice if he'd give us an update where we at, even with this situation. But again, I respectfully disagree with our legislative counsel. He's certainly entitled to his opinion, and I respect his opinion. At this point, I don't believe it's a conflict or appearance of a conflict if I vote up or down today. It's a grant application. It is not the final, or whether the county will enter into an agreement with a municipality or not. This just gives you the opportunity to go out to do some more research, and which we certainly welcome to do so. But I made my point clear from the door where I stood and why. So I don't know if that was directly to me or not. So I just wanted to clear the air.
Thank you.
Chair.
I just can't, to your point, I can't, I'm not speaking on behalf of council. I'm speaking about, you asked, what is the benefit in shared services? So very briefly, It really depends on the shared service. For example, with Atlantic County, on the island, we pay the island communities, Brigantine, Vandermarket, Longport, to do the snow removal on our streets. In Brigantine, we have the grass medial strip. They cut that, so we pay those towns. Now, what is the benefit to the county? Benefit to the county is that we don't have to dispatch a lot of staff over in this area. The benefit to them is they get enough money to offset the cost to do that, and maybe make some money on that, depending on exactly how many times they have to cut or shovel snow, whatever the case may be. Okay. Now, with respect to this program in particular, I'm just going to use one town because I can relate to that town because I was asked to do something about that town. Their penny, the cost of a penny for them is like $86,000. The cost to run their court is costing them roughly 3 cents on the tax rate to their residents. Mm-hmm. When we're said and done, if the county were to run the court system for that particular town, they almost break even because the cost that they would be paying the county to run the court system is reduced pretty significantly. Plus, they keep the revenue, which we're using revenues from the past. That number almost offsets whatever else the cost they would have. So from going from roughly a 3 cents of a tax on their residents, they will have no tax increase at all. It'll almost be zero. With the county, we're getting the money from the municipalities to offset the cost of the court. So technically, we're getting the revenue to offset the county. So, I mean, again, Bonnie's on. So if we spend 1.5 million or let's use $2 million, and we get revenue of $2 million, it's offsetting in our budget. We get $2 million worth of expenses, and we have the $2 million of revenue. So the benefit to the towns is a tax reduction for their residents. And so those are the kinds of issues that shared services is supposed to provide. Anyway.
So Jerry, I would agree, Madam Chair. I don't want to prolong the meeting, but I would agree with you again, Jerry, that shared services will work in some towns, even with the courts. I'm not even objecting to that at all. I just stated the position in which I'm more familiar with when we talk in terms of 45 to 50,000 cases per year. We are probably the largest. When I say we, the city of Atlantic City in Atlantic County is probably the largest municipality without maybe Egg Harbor Township because it's so wide. But I just talk in terms of Atlantic City, knowing the volume that we have. I'm not objecting to shared services at all, but again, it may work in other towns. I just don't think it works here in Atlantic City. And we gave you and the county administration and the county administrator, the county exec, our positions why we didn't think it worked. But we're not objecting to if other towns want to go in and do it. We just try to get you to see it from our point of vantage view. And again, when more information comes out in terms of what the benefits are, one, to the county, as you indicated, but more importantly, what are the benefits to the towns that you're looking to do shared services in the court system, a lot of them may sign on to it, may not. But like you said, the problem is Commissioner Gatto said, one of the issues is everybody's worrying about, if they're going to have a job going to the county shared services for the courts. That's always going to be up in the forefront of all these discussions. Some people believe it's a political expedience for others. But at the end of the day, I don't know any town that does not want to save money. At least I'm just naive to the fact that they don't want to save money. But again, I think it does work in some town. And going forward, and again, this is just a grant application to start the process, waiting to see what Senator Sweeney's bill will actually read at the end of the day. Some municipalities may not have a choice but to go to shared services. But I'm always reminded, and I'm done, I'm always reminded of the issue when they talked about the county-wide dispatch, what a disaster that was. The dog and pony show, going to all the meetings, and folks, one Jerry, you know as well as anybody on this meeting, and Risley probably was around at that time, and Bertino, people voted, they were all claiming they were going to support it, but at the end of the day, they started falling apart, and a lot of taxpayers' money went out to renderings, etc., and nobody wanted to talk about that. And at the end of the day, it cost taxpayers a lot of money, but I don't believe it was grant money given at that time to even do rendering, let alone a study. It could have been, I just don't recall at this point. But I appreciate our legislative counsel's point. Again, I respectfully disagree with him, but that's what he gets paid to do, is to give us advice, and it's up to us to take it or reject it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Madam Chair,
Yep, Commissioner.
thank you. We've had a wide array of discussion on Resolution 170, covering a myriad of angles and procedures. This application is pretty straightforward. We're asking for the complete grant application to DCA to see if we want to proceed and move forward. Representing many communities on the western end, my district, we've taken shared services in municipalities pretty serious. I represent towns that did away with police departments, did away with court systems, did away combined, and it works for some, it doesn't work for others. The idea of this, and I believe Mr. Ferguson can provide the information he provided the Shared Services Committee with the breakdown on the information from the towns that were interested and the cost analysis and breakdown of what they were looking to save based on the information they have at this time, and that can vary and change. I think if he provides that to the rest of the commission members, at least they'll be able to see some of the information that we have. I think for us, this is an opportunity, whether we like it or not. And as we go forward, things change in every town. Finances are going to change. Shared services is something we're going to have to look at. But it's obviously everybody's individual choice, and they have to make that based on their own particular needs. For me, I'm going to support the resolution because it's the first step as we need to do as a county. The money is there for us to look at it. We might be able to upgrade some facilities for future use. I don't know all that. Let's see how the study goes. But I think generally speaking, for all of us, we're all saying the same thing from our own perspective. The resolution is as it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have?
Bettina, thanks for being my interpreter. You said almost what I said, but it came from the western part of the county.
I said it in 4 minutes.
Commissioner. Commissioner
Madam
Rose.
Chair,
Yes.
Madam Chair, I'll be brief. We've had a long discussion on this. The purpose of this is to help the city save money. And the ones that have indicated interest, I think, are big people that understand that it is going to require reductions in force in their departments. That's the point of this. We're taking baby steps. We're not rushing into this. The other point I want to make is even if this whole thing fails, we'll be getting some upgrades to the old courthouse in Mays Landing, which I don't believe it will fail. I believe it is something that will catch on. I think we should go with part-time judges. I think we have to be very careful of the staffing and take very small incremental baby steps to get this program going. So I think it's a good program. I think it's what we need to look at. I think municipalities realize at this point that this is what we need to do. It's yes, there are going to be some rough decisions. There's no question about that. But that's what we get elected to do, make the tough decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners? Hearing none, do we have comments from the public?
Yes, we have a comment from Miss Joyce Molyneux. She's raised. Ms. Molyneux, you can speak.
Good afternoon again. Number one, grants are not free. Or someone's money. I have not read the resolution. However, I support Commissioner Coursey and the mayor of Atlantic City. and request that there is an opt-out in whatever you're trying to do here. Because something is not right about this to me. And that this should be placed into this resolution that you're presenting tonight. One size does not fit all. It seems like we're paying for a study before the municipalities even state their position. Cannot place the cart before the horse. Grants are not free. They are someone's money. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Molyneux. We appreciate your comments. Do we have other comments from the public?
That's the only comment.
Okay. We'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
No.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 171.
Competitive contract with Rehab Professional Services Incorporated for the provision of physical, occupational, and speech therapy services to the residents of Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center, amount not to exceed $490,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any commissioner comments? Seeing none, any comments from the public?
No comments from the public.
Okay, roll call, please.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. And at this time, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt resolutions number 172 and 173.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Aye.
Okay, so then we have, any commissioners have any comments? Nope. I don't see any comments from the public.
No comments from the public.
Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. Resolution 174.
Resolution authorizing closed session regarding litigation.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made in second. Any commissioner comments? Any comments from the public? Okay, we'll call a roll.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto, Risley,
Yes.
and Kern.
Yes, motion carries. We're going to give it a couple minutes because they have to put us into our breakout room or whatever you want to call it. And also with the tapes, we have some things we have to do. So I'll wait for Madam Clerk to tell me when.
Madam Chair, before you do that, can I ask the clerk a question?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, question for the public. Even though we're going to executive session, do we have any idea approximately how long we may be in closed session?
I'll have to defer to the Legislative Council.
My guesstimate would be 10 to 15 minutes, but obviously that's a guesstimate.
So the record is clear. Somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes, give or take. I might decide to talk 30 minutes just because my legislative counsel have a different opinion. I may have one. But my point is that we will resume after the executive session. So the public can see what we're doing.
Correct.
Okay.
And I just want to note to the public that if you're using a mobile device, the screen will say panelists are in a practice session. Don't be concerned. We have moved over into the executive session. And if the commissioners would just wait a few moments, we'll go into we'll have to wait a few moments. Commissioner Gatto is having a little difficulty with her computer, so we need to wait until she comes back on to move us all over to the closed session.
That's why it's important we get back in person.
Yes. I agree with you. 100%.
You agree with me, John? You agree with me?
100%.
I'm impressed, John.
We can do this in person and be distanced. We can do it.
I'm in favor of coming back in person, but
I am too.
the majority rules.
We need to keep an eye and just kick them off.
Right. Okay. I see.
Want to call her phone?
Yeah, go ahead and call her.
Madam Clerk, just keep in mind that you're live.
I didn't say anything. Now you're muted.
I was just letting you know your mic was live.
Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. I don't want to hear you over there chewing on no gum.
Hey, Sonia, my screen indicates that the executive session is in progress. Is that not the case?
It's not. We're still in the general meeting. This slide is for the general public.
Okay.
Okay.
She said she's trying to get back in.
Okay, we're going to move now.
Okay.
Madam Chairwoman, you can resume the meeting.
Okay, at this time, we're out of executive session where no action was taken. I'll entertain a motion to resume the public portion of the meeting.
Motion.
Motion been made in second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We're now
Thank you. We're now back. Aye.
Got a
Got a bad.
I'm going to ask.
I'm going to ask them. Getting back.
Okay, so
Okay, so we're now back.
Is
everybody hearing that?
I'm going to try. There we go. Okay, so we're now back into the public portion of the meeting. And we're on resolution 175.
Resolution engaging and memorializing the services of litigation counsel Richard C. Andrian, Esquire.
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made.
Motion been made.
Okay. Do we have any further conversation? No further conversation? Do we have any comments from the public? No? I'm sorry.
Yes, we have a comment from Creed Pogue. We're going to raise him to a panelist. Mr. Pogue, you can speak.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I was trying to get recognized before during the earlier resolution. I guess we're all having technical issues today.
My apologies.
That's all right. It happens. So the intent of this resolution, though, is not simply to make sure that Mr. Andrian is paid for the services that he performed before, but also going forward in the appeal phase. Is that correct?
Would you like me to speak about
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Pogue, this is Rick Andrian. How are you?
All right.
So the point of it is to make sure that I memorialize, have in writing, what I'm going to be doing for the client, why I'm going to be doing it, and what I'm going to be paid to do it, and specifically the scope. So the resolution does not authorize me to be paid for anything that I've done in the trial court level. That's water under the bridge, so to speak. It's only to pay me for the work that I will do to handle the appeal.
Okay. In that case, my question would be, how many instances in a contested election has the governmental entity been involved to take sides? In the legislative election contests that have happened, I believe also this is true in municipal contests, and probably whenever it's happened at the county level across the state, across history, the governmental entity pretty much is hands off, while it is the two campaign / political party / whatever that wind up getting involved. I understand the case in essence is to have Dr. Witherspoon seated and it names the county as the defendant, but considering what other cases have happened, those those governmental entities didn't turn around and say, oh, well, we don't think that should be occurring. They left that to the campaigns and the political parties to make those arguments, and whether a judge may have agreed with the initial representation or not. If you're going to go forward with public dollars, I definitely think that's something that should be at best questioned, at a minimum questioned, or perhaps strongly not done.
You want me to
With
answer?
respect. Yeah.
So, Mr. Pogue, there's a lawsuit that was handled. The lawsuit was filed against the Board of Commissioners, so they are obligated to answer it. It alleged wrongdoing by the board. The board prevailed in that case. After the decision was issued, an appeal was filed that necessitates that the board answer it, because they were the party that won the case. So if the board does not answer the lawsuit, the appeal in this instance, they will lose in the claim that the board did something wrong. So this isn't the board interjecting itself into something unnecessarily, which I appreciate. That's something you don't want to see. But in this instance, the board was sued. They prevailed in the case, and now they're being brought in because they're the prevailing party. Then they now have to answer to the appellate division on whether or not they acted appropriately.
Well, Mr. Andrian, again, Madam Chair, I guess I'm directing the question to the Legislative Council. And I realize that you may be cleaning up or found yourself dealing with a situation that you were left with by your predecessor, and I can sympathize with that.
No, I wouldn't describe it that way.
I was trying to be generous here. But the action occurred because the board decided not to seat a person and where ordinarily in those situations, it's the two parties and the two campaigns that argue that out in front of the judge. That's just where my concern is, of where the thumb's being put on the scale with public dollars for what is in essence a political decision.
Yeah, I won't get into the merits, right? Because it's a legal argument and it's frankly sort of close to what's going to be argued in the appellate division. But this isn't a case between two private parties. It's a case where the board was sued and they answered and prevailed initially, and now they just received a notice of, they didn't just, but they did receive a notice of appeal, and now they have to answer it. If they don't, they'll be disqualified from arguing about whether or not they acted appropriately. So it's not two private parties. That's the driving force here. I think that's the difference in what you're describing and what's going on in the case.
But the action taken was to deny a person who had originally been certified as the winner of the election a seat on the board.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to get into the merits of the case. You're literally arguing what's being tossed back and forth in the case. So I appreciate you want to ask the question.
Well, that's county tax dollars at work, sir.
I agree. That's why I answered it as best as I could without getting into, private litigation strategy and work product.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just a quick question for Mr. Adrian. Maybe this will remind Krieg about what occurred. The action we took was because the judge had tossed out the election results. And I think at the time we were asked to seat, and how could I vote to seat someone if I have no election results? I think you're missing a step, Krieg, in the process. That's where the action and the litigation all stemmed from. And we're where we are now because it's got to go through the entire process. Everybody has the right to appeal and defend themselves. And at this point, our solicitors simply defended the position we made from the beginning that we didn't do anything legally wrong, which we were accused of doing. If you don't have a results from an election, all of us are seated the same way, and that's the process. And none of us would ever do anything to circumvent that process. Everybody has the right to serve, but I know what at the time I responded to the actions the judge sent to us, and that's how I move forward.
Well, 20% of the county is currently disenfranchised, and it's heading on to a quarter of a year at the rate we're going right now. And if the appellate division winds up going the other way, they don't get those 3 months back.
Krieg, we all agreed with that a few months ago, all of us as commissioners. And I feel really bad for the two people that ran for office, put in the time. You've spent time working with people that seek us elective offices, and you understand the commitment and time it takes. No one wants to see anybody treated unfairly. We certainly don't. As soon as hopefully we get them seated as quickly as possible, I'd love to see the legal process work quicker, as everybody in the United States would. But we are given what we're given to do, and we have to do the due diligence to see this thing through properly, especially since we're being accused of doing something wrong, and that was thrown out in court that we did nothing wrong. We don't, to each of us, whoever wins the election sits. It doesn't, they need representation. No one ever said they don't. So it's just the process we have been forced upon that we have to respond to. And I think you would understand that, especially being around government as long as you have.
And Madam Chair, I'll just, as an end to this, because I know we can go back and forth for quite a while, but I'll just say this. I mean, obviously, it was a decision of the board not to go with a precedent that was out there. and that has then created a lawsuit. We'll see what the appellate division says. But again, if it goes the other way in the appellate division, the money doesn't come back and the time doesn't come back. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pogue. Always appreciate your comments. Do we have any other comments from the public?
No, we have no further comments from the public.
Okay. Have a roll call.
Ballas,
Yes.
Bertino,
Yes.
Corsi,
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Yes.
Risley,
Yes.
Kern.
Yes, motion carries. That concludes the written portion of our agenda. Do I have any reports of special committees of the board? Okay. Seeing none, any unfinished business? Seeing none, do we have any new business?
Madam Chair, quickly, I'm kind of going to roll the new business in with the written correspondence. I want to address the letter we received from the Greater Atlantic City Chamber of Commerce regarding proposed land use changes by the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection. I know the City of Brigantine is passing a resolution regarding this tomorrow evening, and once they finalize that, I want to take a look, and I'm maybe bringing a resolution to this board. The concerns are pretty serious, and who knows, wide ranging. And the concern is that they're moving at a pretty quick pace without any public input. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I just want to address that letter and let you know that I may be bringing something forward for our next meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do I have any other comments or any new business from the board?
Madam Chair?
Yep. Commissioner Ballas?
Yes, two things. Just want to kind of piggyback off what Commissioner Corsi stated earlier with meeting in person. If we can do whatever we can do to try and get back in person to get away from these glitches that we have, even if we do it as a hybrid, so we can do the WebEx plus in person. That way, at least all of us are there and aren't missing any of the comments that are made by each of the commissioners and the people that are speaking. And I'm sure we could have some guests, and maybe the other guests that are that don't want to come can be on WebEx and see it and be live instead of watching it later on down the road. The second thing is, I'm sure some of you were aware of there was something that was in the paper, reference to Congressman Van Drew, where his life was threatened, and there were some comments made about his wife. I'm going to do some research on that and possibly bring some kind of a resolution, if need be, at the next meeting. Not because it's Congressman Van Drew, but no elected official should have death threats, or no person should have death threats. Being in law enforcement for over 34 years, I take the matter very seriously. And just because it was in the press and in the news, I don't say that that's gospel. So that's why I want to say I want to do some research on it and see where it goes from there.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I think in regards to going back, we have to talk to our public health and to have some discussions on that. But believe me, I think all of us would like to be back together, but we'll have some further discussion on that. Any other new business? Okay. Seeing none. Yeah. Yes, Commissioner Corsi.
Oh, no, I'm going to wait. I'm not ready.
Oh, I thought you just, okay. So no other new business. We have received copies of written communications and petitions. Any commissioners have any comments?
Madam Chair, may I?
You may.
If through you, to Jerry, can the coordinator of shared services give us an update on the latest that's been worked on through the shared services office, so we have an idea what's happening lately, what contacts he's been able to make, where we at on some issues, not just I don't want to keep beating the dead horse to death on the courts, but there's some other stuff that I know he's been working on. Maybe he can just give us an update, whether next meeting, or he could send us some email, tell us what's happening in and around the county. I would appreciate it, because I think it would have been a good discussion today. I didn't see him on the screen, but we talked about the court, so that probably would, I know he's had some discussions. It would have been good to hear back from him. But if through you, Madam Chair, to the administrator, we can get an update from him, I agree, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Do I have any other comments from the commissioners? Okay, we'll now open to the public portion. Anyone that would like to speak, please type yes and the resolution number, the question and answer box. You'll be raised as an attendee. Do we have anybody from the public that would like to speak now?
Yes, we're going to raise Joyce Molyneux.
Okay. Ms. Molyneux?
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening again. Couple things here. You mentioned on the agenda concerning the roads you were putting forth on Delilah Road and all. Who is the county involved in the road? And I don't know the name of it, but it's close. It's the road that where the Red Cross is building is in Pleasantville. Does that road have anything to do with the county?
That's Franklin Boulevard. That is the city of Pleasantville. Jerry, correct me if I'm wrong. I thought we helped them one time before, but that Franklin Boulevard is in such disrepair. I know Pleasantville is hurting for some finances. Maybe we get some shared services there, but if that's what Ms. Molyneux is referring to, that's Franklin Boulevard.
Okay,
So we used to own Washington Avenue on Franklin Boulevard. We will own Washington to the Black Horse Pike. The city used to own on Dolphin Avenue, probably half of the street between Crescent Avenue and Route 9. We flipped the two roads. So what we did was we paved the road from on Franklin from as I said, from Washington to the Black Horse Pike, and then turned it over to Pleasantville. And then they actually did the work on Dolphin Avenue, and they turned that over to us. So now we own all of Dolphin Avenue all the way through, and they own Franklin Boulevard all the way through.
Well, they definitely need some help there. Maybe the county could step in a little more and do something starting from the Red Cross building all the way down, because those holes that are there near the building where people live are really, and it's been like that for some time. As a matter of fact, I've been here 30 years in the county, and it's been like that. So if you want to do some sharing, and if you want to help somebody, and the county needs to step up a little more, because that's where I'm going with a couple things here. The second one is shredding. There used to be the county used to provide some shredding for the citizens. We'd like to see that happen sometime this year. That's where the county can play a major role in. We also would like to see the county not only doing shredding, but heavy appliances that the taxpayers have. You need to step up a little more. We're in 2021. So if you want to help people, try to do a little more for your citizens there. Summertime is coming. And I knew last year you did some spraying for the mosquitoes. However, I don't think much was done in Atlantic City, because we had an awful lot of mosquitoes last year, and I knew it was a lot of stuff going on, and concerning water and all that kind of game plan. But we'd like to see you step up a little more. It's time for the county to step up more and doing things that help the taxpayers and the citizens to be more reliable to them. So can we get that done?
Well, let me say this to you. I'll go look at shredding, but we I don't believe we did it. It was done by a private agency, and they did it out in at the Shore Mall I will check that to see if we could get who that provider was. It was an outside provider. I'm not sure what you mean by appliances. And with respect to mosquitoes, you know, the county mosquito unit is all over the county. And so the big issue is if you really want us in Atlantic City, you know, I will check with Mr. Abdul, John Abdul, and ask him what we did last year, you know, where the calls were, where the issues were. So I can certainly do that. You know, I will. I'll get back to Commissioner Coursey on that issue.
I know. I realized that the shredding was done by a private company. That's what I do know. But what I'm saying is the county needs to step up more and help the citizens. The appliances, I'm not really saying appliances, but heavy things that the citizens have. There needs to be more help coming from the county from that. When they have to throw away their, say they have to throw away a refrigerator, or say they have to throw away anything big in their homes, there should be something, sometime that the county needs to step up with those type of items and say, I'm scheduling something for the citizens, so they'll be able to know that they can place that there at the time, or say quarterly, every quarter, or even with the shredding needs to be done every quarter. Those things that the county needs to start taking a look into, things that are immediate to each household. That's where you need to be placing some of your sharing to. Share some of the funds upon the citizens of the county.
Well, you should talk about appliances, talk to your commissioner, your freeholder commissioner, because they have a provider for, as everybody outside of Atlantic City has the utilities authority. If you speak to your mayor and Commissioner Coursey, they could work with, I believe they have gold medal, and you could get those appliances through your, what is considered your solid waste provider. So I think that's what you need to have that conversation at.
But Jerry, let the record reflect that gold medal does come through Atlantic City regarding that type of stuff, refrigerators, big TVs, etc. I'm not sure if that's what Mrs. Molyneux is referring to, just specifically in Atlantic City, but we do have gold medal, as you indicated, as a private entity or private contractor that picks up our trash and recycle and those big bulks, the stuff that you're referring to. But I'm not sure if that's exactly what Mrs. Molyneux is referring to on a whole. But we can have that conversation. I mean, I'm on the phone with gold medal on a daily basis. But on another note, let me just go back to what Mrs. Molyneux talked about, Jerry, in terms of Franklin Boulevard from Delilah Road up to maybe the gas company. If in fact the county could step up and try to help them with that. They have a budget problem in the city of Pleasantville. We talk in terms of shared services. Maybe the county can help them with that paving of that particular road. It is a disaster. And Jerry, I don't know the last time you rode down there, or even some of my colleagues, but I certainly invite you to do it. But maybe we can have that conversation offline, Jerry. Talk to the mayor of Pleasantville. Maybe you can foot a bond. We like to go to the Improvement Authority or the county, since we got such great bond ratings. Maybe you can help out. That's shared services last time I checked, right? Let me talk to Frank, see if Frank can reach out to the mayor over there, see how we can tie that into shared services. What's your take on that?
Just remember, county government has 375
I understand, but Pleasantville
linear miles of its own roads that we're having. We have our own issues with, so it's whatever.
But would it be fair to say? But would it be fair to say, Jerry, Pleasantville is still part of Atlantic County? And if we talk about shared services, wait a minute.
We don't do municipal streets,
service, Jerry. But if we're talking about shared services, and we know that town is hurting financially, we can't step up. That's something let's have that conversation. Let's have that conversation.
You can have that conversation when I'm probably going to have 7 people standing right behind you after I had that conversation with you. So just remember,
have 18 behind. I may have 18, but I'm just saying.
Right.
Ms. Molyneux raises a good point.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm just saying maybe we can help. I don't know. I'm asking you on a serious note. Can we look at that?
I would strongly recommend if anybody wanted their municipal streets done by the county, I would recommend they write the county executive and ask the county executive, exactly what you would like. I believe that would be the appropriate, as we tell everybody, that's the appropriate request.
That's a start. I think I know the answer, but that's a start.
Okay, thank you. And I wasn't just talking about Atlantic City when I was speaking. I'm speaking about the whole other areas in this county.
Thank you, Ms. Molyneux.
So, Madam Chair, just real quick, Jerry, I ran as sheriff, I ran that paper shredding event every year. And so offline, I'll get a hold of you and see if we can set something like that back up again at cost to the county. It was a great program, but since I left as sheriff, they haven't continued the program.
Right, yeah.
When Ballas, you say nobody can do it better than you, but it is a good service to provide. We do it in Atlantic City, and you'd be surprised the amount of people who come out. And Ms. Molyneux raises a good point. Maybe we can get that program back through the sheriff's department or through the county. But it works. It does work.
It's much needed, absolutely, especially for the seniors.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do we have any other comments from the public?
No other comments from the public.
Okay. Do we have anything for the good of the order?
Madam Chair, if I may, to my colleagues, I'd just like to bear moments of silence. I received news this afternoon. I don't know if you know him, but Dr. Robert Williams apparently passed away on his way into his practice this morning. Was a shock to the entire community, but we certainly like to just have a moment of silence for his family.
We'll have a moment.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.